what up, everybody? It is the 16th of, Tuesday the 16th of September 2014, and I am your host, and thank you for tuning into the Ant-Man channel, because we got plenty of news here today. I'm looking at a couple of articles, and I think that it's going to be a pretty informative day here. Some pretty funny stuff here. Not really. Nothing funny about it, actually, but we'll go into it right now. This article right here is from the ClashDaily.com. ClashDaily.com with Doug Giles. Seriously? Federal judge envisions right to rape. Written by Matt Barber on Today. Judge Richard Posner, a federal judge with the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, recently become a hero, or became, I guess. He should have put became a hero to the pro-gay marriage left when, by way of a legal analysis free from the troublesome constraints of logic, case precedent, biology, tradition, and reality in general, he managed to somehow divine a long-hidden constitutional right for two dudes to get married. How can tradition be a reason for anything? An incredulous Posner demanded last month of attorneys defending marriage protection amendments in both Wisconsin and Indiana. It would seem that Posner's contempt for tradition, I guess, man, maybe I shouldn't. It would seem that Posner's contempt for tradition extends to all things sexual, up to and including the puritanical presupposition that it's always wrong for a man to rape a woman. This idea, according to Posner in his 2011 book Economic Analysis of the Law, 8th edition, is evidently an equally archaic tradition that, like the institution of natural marriage, needs a significant overhaul. I am at a loss for words right now. Posner's suggestion, perhaps it's time the government began issuing rape licenses. I kid you not, since and based upon an exclusively utilitarian and morally relative cost-benefit analysis, the right to rape, for some men at least, exceeds the victim's physical and emotional pain. Am I awake? Is this a dream? Okay, on page 216, Posner, a Reagan appointee considered conservative in progressive circles, writes, you're considered a conservative in progressive circles, and you are, I'm gonna hold off on the ranting for a while. Rape bypasses the market in sexual relations, marital and otherwise, in the same way that theft bypasses markets in ordinary goods and services, and it should therefore be forbidden. Okay, well, this is an oddly detached and clinical start to a discussion on rape. It is, so far, not entirely unreasonable. Posner would have been well served to stop here, and much like those who are the subject of his rape analysis, he does not stop. But continues, Posner, I didn't know there were any buts, but when it comes to rape. But some rapists derive extra pleasure from the fact that the woman has not consented. Yeah, these are depraved imaginations of the heart. The Bible teaches that a woman is a person with a soul, and that they're not the object of your pleasure and depravity and your imagination for wanting to have all kinds of disgusting sexual acts with her. I don't know why, but this kind of brings me back to, this is random, but bear with me. Rosa Parks. Why didn't Rosa Parks get up from her seat when she was asked to give it up for a white person? It was because of the fact that you have a soul, and that you have this, you're made in the image of God, and that you have dignity and all this, and it's just, I'd rather be dead than be ever a coward in my life. There are worse things than being dead, you guys. There are worse things. You could be an absolute coward, letting your family perish in this life, and not caring about them, and not taking care of them. You can be that kind of guy, if you want to. But here we go. We're justifying having the craziest imaginations that you want to have with women, and be able to fulfill them and justify them, right? It's amazing. Let's see here where we went. For these rapists, there is no market substitute, and it could be argued, therefore, that for them, rape is not a purely coercive transfer and should not be punished if the pleasure to the rapist, as measured by what he would be willing to pay, though not to the victim for the price to rape, exceeds the victim's physical and emotional pain. These are practical objections. No, really, practical objections to rape? But the fact that any sort of rape license is even thinkable. What kind of bigoted rapophobe would suggest otherwise? Is a limitation on the usefulness of that theory? Let's see. What generates the possibility of a rape license? He persists. Holds off, fellas. They're not available yet. Ha ha ha. Man, I mean, that's so creepy. I'm not even kidding. There is the fact that the rapist's utility is weighed the same as the victim's utility. If it were given a zero weight in the calculus of costs and benefits, a rape license could not be efficient. The only persuasive basis for such a weighting, however, would be a moral principle different from efficiency. No, we don't like morals. We kick God out of the schools, out of the courtrooms, everywhere now. And we blame inanimate objects for our problems now. And we throw money at all of our problems too, like, oh, terrorists, go away, throw money at them, go, go, go. And they just become bigger and worse. Moral accountability. Nobody wants to be accountable in our days because we are being fed in this society right now a type of weaponized culture that is licentious and sensual. And the Bible talks about this in the Amplified version. That it's when you see stuff like this, you can almost feel like the enemy is throwing toys up at you and seeing like, like, go play with that. Go play with that. And believe me, the gangbanger culture is the biggest vulnerability to this kind of thing in all of society, because they're the licentious people. They're the ones that they want to get away with the most dirt as they can, because that feeds their ego, and then their rap career is going to go somewhere. You know what I mean? It's the stupidity of that is just not funny at all, because these people, I mean, the wicked won't even live half their days. That's what Psalm 55 says. You die for a lack of understanding and lack of knowledge. Those that believe in God and trust in Him they actually, because of that, they're gonna live longer because of that. That's the Bible. Go read Psalm 55 and see if that little song that David wrote doesn't bring you just this comfort that just absolutely makes your day. Oh, I guarantee you. And herein lies the rub. We all know that Posner thinks about moral principles. He's a moral relativist. Who isn't in the postmodern era? There are no moral principles, most especially traditional moral principles. I mean, how can tradition be a reason for anything? Oh, there was never a Reformation. There was never an Enlightenment. There was never... we know where we get the kind of people like this from, right? The New Agers, now the postmoderns. Now they're becoming absolutely satanic, if you ask me. They're just becoming... What's next? What's next? Really, I don't even want to imagine that, because it's getting there to that point where I don't even want to put those things in my mind. Ugh, what's going on here, you guys? Are we going crazy or what? But wait, there's more. You gals trapped in one of those traditional marriages needn't fret. Posner's got you covered to marital rape. Marital rape? Come on, is there really such a thing? In a society that prizes premarital virginity and marital chastity, I know, sheesh, right? The cardinal harm from rape is the destruction of those goods and is not inflicted by marital rape, he writes. The nature of the harm of the wife raped by her husband is a little obscure, he continues. How pathetic is that? If you need to rape your wife. It's pathetic, man. What kind of a man are you? You know what I see a lot in the society? And I always refer to this one book that I read a couple of weeks back. It's called Wild at Heart, and it's by John Eldridge. Man, is that a good book, man. That's a life-changing book. But, like, it's really amazing, because I'm going to point out a couple of things here that are some sensitive issues. I want to address them as gently as I can. But many of us Americans, we grew up without fathers. We may have grown up with fathers, but we grew up without the counsel, without the oneness, the connection of having a father. The instructing our grandfathers even too. We were kind of left on the streets to be raised by the streets, and if you get what I mean. And men that never really get initiated into manhood, they try to get the confirmation of them being a man from the woman, but you cannot do that. You cannot get confirmation, and you can't be initiated into being a man by a woman. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, women aren't just for pleasure and comfort, you guys. We need to become men. Women don't simply want to just be the center of our world. That's not at all what they want. They don't want that. They don't want us to be like engulfed and just obsessed with them. They want to join in and share in an adventure with us. And it's so true, man. It is. It's true. Life is an adventure. You got to be It's got to be dangerous. It's got to be fun, man. And you got to have God in your life, man. I mean, if you want to have just a good time in life, throughout all the stuff that we see, I think it's just amazing that God gives us that kind of peace and joy in our hearts, that we could still find fulfillment and all these good things in our lives in the midst of it. But yeah, that's a little thing in our culture, man, is that we have a lot of little boys in our culture. And I'm not talking about the size of your I'm not talking about your like stature. I'm talking about your your like mental fortitude, your courage and strength. You know what I mean? That's what fortitude means, is courage and strength. What does God make you? He makes you courageous and strength. Tells you do not fear. What is the security blanket there though? What is the why should I not fear? Why, you know what I mean? It's because God is a lot bigger than this world and all of our problems. And if you humble yourself, He cares about you, and He will give you grace and He will give you mercy for exchange of that sin and the burden of having the guilt and weight of, not having a clear conscience. I like what Mark Spence said on the Comfort Zone yesterday. He said, there isn't a softer pillow than a clear conscience. You know why I can go to sleep at night every day? Because I have a clear conscience. God shows me to be pure and blameless in all my ways, and to be meek, control my temper, restrain it. You think I don't have it? You think, you know what I mean? Like, just because I don't show it or anything, man, you guys have to understand that it's not weakness when you're kind to people. Never give up on being kind and good to people, man. But I've had to fight anger, like insane anger, all my life. I had it instilled in me. It was iniquity passed down from my father to me. I forgive him, I love him, and everything, and he's cool. But man, that was such a struggle for me to get under control, to restrain that. And man, that's not what makes a man, you guys. That's a little boy. When you're marching around the street beating your chest, you're a joke, man. Come on. You aspire to the most mediocre standards in our society to be just absolutely fake. And behind all of that chest beating, man, is weakness. It's fear. You're driven by fear and insecurities. But hey, man, if you don't like it, deal with it. Go read the Bible. If you want to feel bad about yourself, go read the Bible, because you want to read books and be able to critique books. But let me tell you something that I learned from Joseph Prince. He says that you don't read the Bible reads you. The Bible tells you who you are and how you need to get saved. You get the law, and then you get grace. Law and then grace, law, grace, and then you need to know that you need a Savior. That's how you come to the realization, because you don't live up to God's law, and you never will. You need a righteousness that is not your own. And I'm not even a pastor's son, and I'll preach it better than Rick Warren. But anyways, if she is beaten or threatened, these of course are real harms inflicted by an ordinary assault and battery, especially since the goods of virginity and of chastity are not endangered. The fact of her having intercourse one more time with a man with whom she has had intercourse many times before seems peripheral to the harm actually afflicted, but is critical to making the offense rape. Most of the reasons for not making marital rape a crime have lost force with time, he laments. A time of fanciful meme has taken root among the progressive left. It's one that imagines ours as a patriarchal rape culture which fosters an environment within women are systematically raped with impunity, especially on our nation's college campuses. There's a war on both of our genders, you guys. There's a war on women and there's a war on men. The brainwashed women are peer pressuring the vulnerable, innocent, good women to be like them, I think. And that's the same on the other side of the coin, is that men, like, it all ties in with that being initiated into manhood type of thing that I was talking about. It's almost like you need to, and we do have an instinct to want to gang, be a part of the gang and have a crew and a clique and all that, but all of that's nonsense, you know what I mean? You don't need that. And people think that and you know what I mean, the boys that are raised without fathers and whatnot, and they're raised on the streets, they think they get their masculinity from that. They think that they're empowered by that. And in my opinion, gangbangers are nothing but cowards that need other cowards to hide behind to feel empowered. And if you don't like that, come and you know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care if you don't like that. I disdain that lifestyle. It's absolutely disgusting. You're a misogynist. You're a dirty, filthy mouth coward. You're just weak. And you know what I noticed in our society now that MMA is a big thing now, is that when you're an MMA fighter and you go around gangbangers, they feel all of a sudden like they need to defend themselves. They need to defend their identity, and they need to defend their their egos. And it's because they think they're the fighters. They think they're the tough guys, but they're not. And martial arts, it was funny because I was watching Fox yesterday and they were showing a report of like these two idiots that were kickboxing in a church. There was an event that was in a church, but they started kneeing each other, and they both kneed each other in the groin, and they weren't even supposed to knee. It was outside of the rules. And the anchor goes, that has nothing to do with Christianity. I don't know what he's talking about, because you know what? Christianity and martial arts, they teach the same thing, at least where I went to go to school for martial arts. Perseverance, self-control, discipline. That's martial arts. When you look at a cage fight and all you see are the spinning back kicks and all that, dude, that's martial arts and stuff, but it's deeper than that. It's spiritual. You know how when you see like Street Fighter and stuff, and you see Akuma and Ryu, but Ryu's the good guy and he wanders, and Akuma is the guy that gave into the darkness and he became obsessed and greedy with power. That is real, man. That is real. And when you don't have the spiritual aspect and the discipline and all the virtue that comes with martial arts, that is exactly what you become. I do know dark martial artists. I really do. I do. And I know good martial artists. I know virtuous, godly martial artists. And they're the ones that honestly, they have more focus. They're more disciplined. They seem to be more, you know what I mean? Just well balanced, well rounded. But anyways, let me get back into this. Got on a big old tangent there about how, you know what I mean? We have this licentious culture because we're catering to little boys, straight up. Apparently the solution is for chicks to pierce and tattoo themselves, declare slut pride, and parade nude and slut walks across the globe, but that's an outlier. Yeah, I don't get the feminists, man. That's too much, you know? Like, you need to go out and get naked to prove a point. You think that there's power in that? You know what psychology teaches you about when you go out and you go to the beach and you wear a little bikini and you let guys, you know, pretty much just stare at you all day? You know what you're psychologically doing to men is that you're becoming an object in their eyes. That doesn't give you power. Maybe power like Jezebel, because you're manipulating us based off of your sexuality, and that's a real spirit. The spirit of Jezebel is a real evil spirit, and it's prevalent. And it has to do with a lot of monuments that they put up in, like, you know, Washington and in like the Vatican, and it's really real. The Jezebel spirit's real, man. And women get caught. You know how like in the Bible says that women are our weaker half. That's not meaning that you guys are less intelligent. That does not mean that you guys are not capable of fighting as much as we are. The fact of the matter is, though, is that you and children are more vulnerable to the evil that is in the world, the sin that consumes you. The reason why people get into pornography, the reason that people go into prostitution is because of very harmful events that have happened in their life over and over again, and it's tragic, man. And it's like, I'll use how Matt Chandler said it yesterday. It's deplorable. It's deplorable, you guys, to watch pornography because you don't understand what's behind all of that. Like, it's really so dark and evil, and it breaks my heart, man. It should break your heart. But I finally get it. Posner is a rape culture. I wonder how these yeah, I guess I read that wrong. I said, I wonder how these mouth-frothing marriage equality lefties will react to his permissive approach to rape. In much the same way, I suppose, they react to myriad accusations of sexual harassment and assault lodged against Bill. Depends on what is Clinton. With total silence and self-serving hypocrisy. None of this should surprise anyone. Richard Posner is a faithful disciple of Alfred Kinsley, the anti-science, anti-morality left sexual messiah. Kinsey, it's Alfred Kinsey. Kinsey was a bug doctor turned sexologist. Yeah, it's funny how people use, you know, science to try to explain away our morality and our obligations and accountability and stuff and our responsibility. It's really not going to work. Science is not going to be able to solve our problems. Science is just a word that means knowledge. And it's funny that someone told me yesterday that theology is science. I mean, oh boy, we're in trouble these days. Though married to a woman who took part in his many filmed scientific orgies. Wow. Kinsey was a promiscuous homosexual and sadomasochist. He managed to completely upend and twist the world's perception of human sexuality in the 1950s and 60s with his world-famous Kinsey reports. Even today, most are completely unaware that keep reading the rest that, you know, they have a federal judge Envisions rape license for. They got this from allyshores.deviantart.com, I guess. Oh, that's the picture. Never mind. There's a link here if you guys want to go to it. It's clashdaily.com. This was published today, so you can probably find it on the front page. Seriously, federal judge envisions rape to be a right. And again, I have to reference this book before I close, and I'm not getting paid to do this. As a matter of fact, I think that he gives it to you for free if you can't donate. But this book, Bible Law versus the United States Constitution, is a very fascinating read right now for me. It's really opening my eyes to the fact that the Bible doesn't talk about rights. It talks about responsibilities. And when we live in a culture that is fed this mantra that you have the right to do whatever you want type of thing, we can make as many laws as we want to justify our actions, but they are not right. You understand what I'm saying? Well, anyways, God bless you guys. Have a good day. Keep your eyes open and, keep your garments and watch. God bless you.